like a hurricane in Duckburg. Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a duck blur. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales. Every day that I've been making DuckTales. Tales of daring, do that, and DuckTales. Danger, what's behind you? There's a stranger out to find you. What to do? Just scramble to some DuckTales. Every day that I've been making DuckTales. Tales of daring, do bad and good DuckTales. Not ponytails or cotton tails, no DuckTales.
B Marsh Boxing, what's going on, boxing heads and fight fans around the world? Early what? Wednesday? What's the day? Wednesday or Thursday? Shit, I done lost track of the dates, man. Anyways, Canelo Alvarez, man, he gotta get that work today. Canelo Alvarez will forever get that work on this channel, you know what I mean? He's supposed to be the flagship of the sport, you know? The highest paid boxer out of every single boxer on planet Earth. You know what I'm saying? The money man for the WBC, Golden Boy, the zone, however you call it, he is the cash cow, you know what I mean? But the WBC, with the incompetence, has added another clusterfuck of issues and confusion that's now gonna basically have Canoli on the outside looking in and doing whatever the fuck he wants, you know? So Canelo Alvarez and the WBC, well, the WBC, they've created a new world title position for Canelo Alvarez. They're now calling him a franchise champion. Now, by this, with him being the franchise champion, the WBC removes Canelo from his position as the middleweight champion, as a world title holder. You know what I mean? And they vote. Then they've excuse me, they've upgraded the man Jamal Charlo, excuse me, who was the interim champion. He's now been elevated to the full middleweight champion. Charlo's fighting this weekend. Matter of fact, he's going to defend that his newly crowned WBC belt against Brandon Adams, winner of the contender, just probably sometime last year, who beat Sugar Shane Mosley's son. You know what I mean? So I'm going to read to you the explanations that the WBC is giving for this particular move, and it's gonna be mad confusing, man. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you what my conclusion is. All right. Quote: During its recent mid-year meeting in Honolulu, Hawaii, USA, the WBC Board of Governors approved Rule 3.26 of the WBC Rules and Regulations, which creates a designation of WBC franchise champion. The franchise champion is a special designation and status which the WBC may bestow to a current World Boxing Council world champion, who is also an elite boxer and who has achieved and maintains the highest of statures in the sport. End quote. So basically, they're saying that the man Canelo Alvarez has been designated a special status. You know what I mean? You know, and the WBC have bestowed him as a elite boxer. I thought that's for the fans to judge, not the WBC. You check it, and that's why they've given him this franchise tag. And he don't got to fight his mandatories. That's basically what it comes down to. More quotes. And this is from the WBC. I'm quoting the WBC's petition on why they making this guy the World Boxing Council franchise champion. All right. So more quotes. Quote: Under Rule 3.26, in its discretion, the WBC may, upon a two to third vote of the Board of Governors, designate in each weight category one WBC franchise champion. A franchise champion shall enjoy a special status with respect to his or her mandatory obligations, holding multiple belts, and competing for titles of other organizations as the WBC Board of Governors rules on a case by case basis. The WBC is bestowing that honor upon Canelo Alvarez, the champion, due to his many accomplishments, which have positioned him as a major worldwide attraction in boxing, and in light of his unquestionable boxing career linked to our organization. Canelo Alvarez has represented the WBC for 11 years with outstanding results in this profession. End quote. That's a whole lot to digest right there, man. They basically giving the guy a pass to duck any and everybody. And what really hurts me is that they talking about that the WBC would like to make a franchise champion in each weight category, one WBC franchise champion. Oh Lord, this is fucking up the game, man. What's up, Finks Art of Boxing in the chat? What's good, man? He says music to my ears. That duck sauce or was it Ducktales theme song that definitely goes to Cannoli. I don't think this is the first time I've given him a duck sauce. Burgess Meredith, what's happening, man? He says, "Yo, what's up, B? What's good with you, Burgess? How you feeling, man?" All right, I'm going to lay down the five rules. Out the WBC outlines certain conditions and rules for the franchise champion, and they have five of them. All right, one, the franchise champion will be designated as WBC Emeritus Champion once he retires from boxing. As you already know, an Emeritus Champion is a guy like Floyd Mayweather, Vitaly Klitschko. Those are the last two franchise champions I could recall in recently, and that means basically the guys can retire, which they have, but anytime they want to come back to boxing, they can face the WBC champion without having to be a mandatory. They could face the WBC champion immediately. So if Vitaly Klitschko wanted to come back right now, fight Deontay Wilder, that fight would be made immediately. All right, and same with Floyd Mayweather. If he wants to come back right now, he doesn't have to wait in line for nobody. He can get in the ring immediately and get a title shot versus Sean Porter, the WBC welterweight champion. All right, the second rule for the franchise champion is number two. The franchise champion would proudly represent the WBC in every single fight as a reigning WBC champion, regardless of any specific conditions or titles being associated with all future fights. WBC rules and regulations will govern under the traditional conditions of boxing in the franchise champions fights. WBC will approve through the franchise champion promoter every opponent scheduled to fight. It's another bullshit clusterfuck kind of rule they got over there, saying that the champion will probably represent the WBC in every single fight as a reigning WBC champ. Whatever the fuck that means. Number three, franchise champion agrees to participate in a minimum of two social responsibility events every year organized and in conjunction with the WBC. So let me read that again. Franchise champion agrees to participate in a minimum of two social responsibility events. So maybe the franchise champion has to be involved in some kind of community service or some kind of, I don't know, something. Maybe those events of the yearly conventions that the WBC has, something that got nothing to do with boxing and fighting your mandatories and not ducking nobody. So that's another nut ass rule. Number four, the WBC may recognize the WBC champion in the division where the franchise champion currently competes. Number five, the WBC may award a diamond champion in those fights in which the franchise champion engages. If the franchise champion loses, the winner will receive the diamond belt and may be considered as a mandatory contender of the division. I'm not going to go down and break down every single rule. Any competent boxing fan could already see right through the writings on the wall, read in between the lines. Canelo Alvarez has been given an opportunity. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention also Tony Bellew was given emeritus status by the WBC. Why? I don't know. But basically, all these rules are catered for guys like Cannoli and Cannoli only so far. Watch him do this with they might do that with Leo Santa Cruz too. Please don't look. They might do that with Leo Santa Cruz. He holds some stupid ass fake WBC belt he walks around and parades planet Earth walking around with, while Gary Russell's a real WBC champion. Don't be surprised if the WBC makes an exemption for the man Leo Santa Cruz to duck Gary Russell and any and everybody who does have a pulse in boxing. Because if you followed Leo Santa Cruz's career, those are the only type of guys he fights. Guys who don't have a pulse. Now, Jamel Charlo, to me, you see, what can we do? What can we do? We've seen this stuff happen before. I probably might even do a video about that. Jamel Charlo's now been elevated to the champion with the WBC full time champion. Who the fuck has he beat? Arguably, he didn't even beat what's that guy he fought? That guy he fought. The guy Andy Lee knocked out while Andy Lee was losing all on points, man. Somebody please remind me in the chat. What the fuck is that guy's name? I just seen him fight live versus Emmanuel Alim. Matt Korobov. Arguably, Jamal Charlo didn't even beat Matt Korobov. Jamal Charlo fought Hugo Centeno Jr. to become interim WBC champ. These are not quite the type of fights that, look, man, you can call him a champion. The WBC's fucking up the game, man. I don't want to take nothing away from Jamal Charlo, you know what I mean? You see, I don't even be coming on making videos banging on Jamal Charlo. The guy ain't really done nothing to me. It's a damn shame, that he wasn't able to get Triple G into the ring. Now he can't get Canelo. He won't get those big fights. Maybe because he signed over there with the PBC. But now he's gonna have a belt. If anybody wants the WBC belt, you're gonna have to come through Showtime, PBC, Fox. But at the end of the day, man, this was just a big excuse from the WBC for the man Triple G. I'm sorry, Canoli to duck Jamal Charlo. Why doesn't the man Triple Canoli? Why does he get an exemption to? He's been ducking the Charlo since he was at 154. You know what I mean? Okay, the guy fought Danny Jacobs. I give him credit for Danny Jacobs' win. Some people don't even think Canoli won that fight. I don't think Danny Jacobs won that fight, not the way he fought. But ultimately, Canelo has been given an exemption for testing for PEDs twice last year. Got a slap on the wrist. Now he gets an exemption to duck all and everybody within the WBC rankings. The IBF were very strict about their mandatory policies. They gave him an exemption that he doesn't have to fight his mandatory Sergey Derevchenko. So what the fuck can Canelo? What Canelo can get away with murder? You know what I'm saying? Now you can see why some people like me will probably be very critical and be banging on this guy Canoli, fake ass Mexican, look like a motherfucking Irishman. You know what I'm saying? This guy's an Irishman parading as a Mexican just so he could have both fan bases. You know what I mean? I'm tired of this shit. You know what I mean? This man Canoli is a disgrace to boxing. Dan the Man says franchise champion said, sounds so goofy. Don't it? Sounds like some fake shit the WBC has made up. Now the WBC makes up belts as they go along. They made up WBC silver belts, diamond belts, WBC money green belt for the Mayweather and Conor McGregor fight. Some kind of Aztec or warrior WBC belt versus Canoli and Danny Jacobs. See, I don't mind if they make those belts, just as long as they don't get in the way of fights. You know what I mean? This is where the WBC is playing position as matchmaker. You know what I'm saying? They're playing position as matchmakers, and that's not the job of a sanctioning body. They want to make their own champion. You see, sanctioning bodies have done this numerous times. You know what I mean? They've done this all along. I remember when the WBA they snatched away a title from Bob Foster. I forgot the guy that they gave. They gave Bob Foster's belt. Bob Foster ain't lose that WBA belt in the ring. You know what I'm saying? So the sanctioning bodies they want to have their champion, okay? And in order for them to have Canoli as their champion, they'd elevate the man Jamal Charlo. You know what I'm saying? You check it, they'll throw him a bone, but at the end of the day, Canoli still gets to do whatever the fuck he wants. Some people try to say that the man Floyd Mayweather never fought no mandatories when he was with the WBC. Well, I'm not gonna go that far. If you talk about the WBA with Keith Thurman and Erslandy Lara being his mandatories, and the WBA didn't um, exercise or execute Floyd Mayweather to take those mandatories, then you got a case. I'll agree with you. But as far as the WBC, what you think guys like Robert Guerrero was? Robert Guerrero was a mandatory. You know what I'm saying? The guy had beat Andre Berto. If Andre Berto had won that fight, he would have fought Floyd Mayweather in 2013, I believe, when Floyd came over there to Showtime. All right. WBC or mandatory. Even Victor Ortiz. That's exactly how Victor Ortiz got that fight with Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, Floyd wasn't even the champion. You know what I mean? Floyd was actually like a mandatory or champion emeritus. You know what I'm saying? The man, Victor Ortiz, beat Andre Berto. So Andre Berto fucked up that money twice. But eventually, Floyd still threw him a bone in his last real professional fight of his career. Not that fake exhibition shit that he did with Conor McGregor. But he did actually throw the man Berto a bone at the end of his career in his last fight, I believe, when he became 49-0. You know what I mean? So, Canoli, man, he ain't even gonna fight nobody now. Watch. Thinks Art of Boxing is in the chat. Says getting ready to go live in an hour. If you are around to join, sure. If I'm around, I'll be up on it. Thinks Art of Boxing says gonna cover this and the Andrade fight. Sure enough, man, I was probably gonna do a breakdown and prediction video too of Andre versus Selecki. I believe that's this weekend. So man, just gotta give it to that man Canoli, man. Gotta give it up to Canoli as a duck sauce participant. He's a candidate today, man. You know what I'm saying? And he's been officially stamped with that duck sauce stamp right across his forehead. You know what I mean? The guy been ducking the Charlo since he was at 154. You know what I mean? And Canoli, if he had a heart, man, he would tell the WBC, look, man, no. Why should I get an exemption? I mean, damn. I mean, this guy bleeds just like me. I ain't afraid of no damn Jermall Charlo. But he ain't cut from that kind of cloth. Be Marsh Box, leave your thoughts and comments. Shout outs to Finks Out of Boxing, Burgess Meredith, Dan the Man. Big ups to all y'all coming through in the chat. And I'm going to catch you on the next vid. And if you think that the man Canoli's a duck, hit that thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please share and subscribe. Peace.